Okay, can you hear me?
Great, thank you.
Yeah, well, we're just taking our opening breath. As we do this, we relax the shoulders, we bring the hands up, palms up overhead, and relax and come down. Again, the important thing is to relax your shoulders, breathing in as we come up, breathing out as we collapse and come down. Good. All right. And let's turn at the waist. The shoulders are turning with the waist. So we're turning around an axis. Try not to move your head. And try not to lean. And now, what I'd like you to do is open and close the quad as you do this. So if you can see me, it's a little hard to see, but as I'm turning, I'm not just turning back and forth, I'm turning and collapsing the hip. So there's this crease here, I'm collapsing it, but I'm not leaning as I do this. And come back to center, and as I turn the other way, I'm going to collapse. And again, not leaning forward. See if you can do that, if you can collapse the quad, open and close. So we're going to call this open and close as you turn. And the other side. So if I do it standing up, you can see it. Feet apart. And the other side. Collapse and open. You can do this sitting down as well. And now try, if you can, as you collapse, as you expand, push against the ground as you push up. You're using your body as a hinge. You're opening one quad and closing the other. So I'm opening the one on the right and closing the one on the left, and then closing the one on the left and opening up the one on the right. You're sinking as you open and close these quads. Imagine your groin area here, that crease is a hinge. And you're sinking and closing the hinge and then springing up out of the hinge using the ground. So if I wanted to pull something over, and I did it standing up straight and just use my arm, that's one way of doing it, but that's not very effective because I'm only using my arm. I'm not using my body, the legs, or the ground, right? On the other hand, if I want to pull something, I have the second option is to lean to one side and pull, which is what most people do, is they pull this way. And the problem with that is my center of gravity is going over to the right. So if I let go, or the person I'm trying to pull over releases that grip, my momentum and center of gravity is going to the right, and I'll fall over to the right. The third option is to use the quad and the ground. So as I pull, I grab, sink into the ground, and then stand up like this, see, as I pull over. And so I can pull somebody over with more, or something over with more force by sinking into the ground, opening and closing your quad, and just basically standing up and using my arm as the wheel connected to this axle. Now, this is much easier to feel with a partner. So I want to throw that out there. Try to practice that. And if you can, either standing up or sitting down, and you'll see that you can generate more power, pulling power, and remain in the same place. By remaining in the same place, by opening and closing the quad. And so these are body mechanics principles that we've talked about over the last few weeks. And this one is connecting pung energy, which is this roundness in the arm, the rotation around the dantian, which is turning at the waist, and opening and closing the qua, that's 3 energies, and also pushing and pulling into the ground, sinking into the ground and then pushing to stand up. And combining these 3 body mechanical principles is one of the, is a basic essence of Tai Chi. And it turns out to be very valuable way of a thing that we can use in real, we can use anywhere to do various, carry out various functions, either self-defense or pulling something over. All right. Any questions about that? Makes sense? We're not used to doing that. We're not taught to do that. The impulse is to pull and to lean. But it's not the most efficient way of actually doing that, of carrying out that function, in this case, pulling something over. The same thing with pushing, but it's in the opposite direction. The opening and closing of the quad, remaining upright, using the ground path, the feeling of silk reeling, turning at the waist, and pung energy. You might think of pung energy as just roundness, fullness. Okay, let's continue. Grab a elbow, look the other way and pull across. The other way. Other side. So you're pulling your, your elbow over to one direction and looking back in the other direction. Okay, holding a ball, we open and close. We block down. As we twist and turn and rotate the palms in opposite directions, blocking down, pushing back, turning, and looking at your palm over to the right, maintaining pung posture, which is a roundness, like you're holding a basket. Okay, you don't want to be too far out or too far in. You don't want to collapse your structure, and you don't want to be too open, because if you're too open, you're more vulnerable. So there's this kind of sweet spot that you can actually, if you pay attention to the feeling, it feels more stable than if it's contracted or too expanded. So, I mean, can you feel what I'm talking about? It's really a sense that you have. Imagine you're holding something this way or this way or this way. If your arm is out like that and you're trying to hold something, you're going to be, it's very difficult. If it's too contracted, it's also very difficult. But if it's just intermediate, in between that yin and yang, the yin and yang extremes of too collapsed or too extended, you have more, you're tying that structure into your body more effectively. Okay, come back to center and then rotate, block down and pull to the other side. So with these Qigong movements, we get a chance to practice all of the proper body mechanics that we use in Tai Chi. Recalling that Tai Chi is really an extension of and a derivative of Qigong. Principles are the same. Body upright, head lifted, crown suspended, breathing naturally, slow, relaxed, round. Come back to center, open and close. Rotate the palms in different directions, this time pushing down in front of our laps, palm down, pushing up over the head. Come back again. We're just doing one direction and the other, mirror images. And back to center. Relax. Open and close. Now, when you open and close, I invite you to use this movement as a way of use this movement and essentially as a time to do a body scan. That's the best way to put it, is to just focus on attention on your body and where you're in your posture and how you might be constricting something. And so for me right now, okay, I'm doing it right now, is my feet, as I'm doing this, my feet, well, I can't show you, but I'm on my toes and my heels are lifted. So, and I wasn't aware of that until I had a chance to do, it's just open and close and think about it. And so, yeah, now what I have to do is put my heels down. Okay, so this is the part of the gestalt of Tai Chi, of self-reflection in a physical sense, and maybe even emotional. You may be thinking about something extraneous to what we're doing, and so it gives you an opportunity to let it go, all right? And so this is what this is. And it helps if you breathe in and breathe in and then exhale, because breathing kind of relaxes you. And let's bring the hands down and just relax. Having said that, take a few deep breaths. And coming up, holding that ball. Now we're going to turn the ball over 180 degrees, one way, the other way, clockwise and counterclockwise. And then you're going to pull to the side where the fingers of the lower palm facing up or pointing. And as you rotate back to the center, you rotate holding back to holding the ball on both sides. To the other side. Breathing in as we load up or stretch, and breathing out as we relax or contract. Come back and open and close. Do a little body scanning and come down and relax. If you want, you can take a nice deep closing breath. That'll further help you relax. And bringing the hands up to holding the ball. And basically we're doing the same thing, is we're turning and rotating the hands to push to the left and to the right in this exercise. All right, so here, we're turning both hands either counterclockwise or clockwise. And then we push out with one hand to the other side and pull back with the elbow, both palms facing out, fingers pointing forward. Rotate both hands again. In this case, I'm on the left-hand side, so I'm rotating both palms counterclockwise, pushing out with the back hand, pulling in, and back with the elbow of the other hand, the front hand, and keep going. Relax, slow, reeling silk. Turning at the waist. This is a spiraling energy. So this movement here, or here, is a spiraling energy. And if you think about it, a spiral movement is just a more complex circular motion. So I'm turning my hands in a circular fashion, but at the same time, I'm pushing forward or pulling back. And so if I wanted to strike out and put that palm back near my waist and use that spiraling force to push out and strike with the palm of my hand, I'm not going to come up and just push. I'm going to come up and turn and twist and use the spiraling force, which generates a lot more energy, as I mentioned before. And if I pull back at the same time with the other hand, I add even more energy. And if I turn at the waist, I add even more energy. So I've got three things going that are going to give me the opportunity to apply a much greater force than my mass alone, which is only about 122 pounds. All right. Same thing pulling. If I reach out and grab something, I grab a wrist and I just pull it in, yeah, well, that's effective. Especially if I push out in the opposite direction at the same time and using my waist to add energy to that pulling. It makes more sense to pull, to grab, turn over and pull, because that's a spiraling motion. Reaching out, grabbing, and twisting and pulling is more effective than reaching out and pulling like that. And if you just go ahead and try that, try to pull in. Let's say if you have something heavy like a baseball bat would be a good thing. And if you had it straight out and you pull it in and then have it straight out, holding it out and pull it in and twist it in, it's easier to pull in. So a lot of these movements we're doing have these rotational energies, which are just a modification of a circular movement. Okay. So we're going to get into the ready position for Shaolin. The palms facing up, fists at the side, elbows straight back. And we're going to use that same principle again. We've done so many times of punching out as we twist the part of the palm from being up to being down, and at the same time kick with the other leg and bring them both back at the same time. So many of these movements in these forms reflect these torsional rotations. So mechanistically speaking, reflecting back on the 6 energies or the 6 body mechanical principles, which one would this be, this force? It's got to be one of the 6, because there are only 6. It's Dantian energy, right? Because it's a circular movement. And whether you know it or not, your Dantian is moving as your hands are moving. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to move your hands. Well, I guess you could do this, but it would it'd be very hard to do this without turning at the waist. And if you're turning at the waist, you think of your waist as the circumference or the outside of a merry-go-round, right? And the center of the merry-go-round is your Dantian. Well, you can't turn the circumference, the outside of a Ferris wheel, without turning the pin on the inside. And it's this rotational energy. And you can see my waist moving back and forth as I'm kicking and punching. So this is a Dantian energy or rotation. Okay, good. And finally down to the toes, and we're going to just do our, put the toe down and lift the heel and rock back and forth. Now, if you want, you can take your heel and scribe a circle with it, 180 degrees. So using your toe as a fulcrum, and I'm rotating my heel clockwise and then counterclockwise. So that's a more difficult exercise, but it exercises more of the muscles and tendons in the ankle. And let's just try that on the other side. Let's just go back and forth to kind of get going. And now try to do a circular clockwise movement, the heel. It's hard to do this fast. And then back the other way, counterclockwise. And let's see if we can do a figure 8. Okay, always something new, right, to try. And then put your foot down and then just rock back and forth. And the other one. Okay, good. All right, so today I thought we do something a little different. I try to do something a little different all the time, as much as I can. And we did some Bagua. In the last few weeks, we did these Bagua
palm changes, and I think we did 3. We always start out in the dragon position, dragon palms. And we did a single palm change. We did a back body palm and cover body palm. All right. Cover body palm change or strike. So now we're going to switch gears and we're going to go to Shen Yi. Okay. So, you know, this is a sitting Tai Chi, but we do a little of try to introduce a little bit of the other internal Chinese martial arts, and they're called internal because they use the mind to drive the forces rather than just brute strength. So Shen Yi is different. Tai Chi is sophisticated and subtle, it's slow, and it involves moving in very close to your opponent. Techniques that use a close interaction to be effective. Bagua is done a little further distance away from a person, but it can be described as kind of as complex, elusive, tricky, and the use of a lot of spiraling forces. And Shen Yi, on the other hand, is very different. Shen Yi is very linear, back and forth. And it's based on the 5-element theory. And the 5-element theory is the basis of Chinese medicine. So the 5 elements in the Chinese medicine are very different than the 5 elements in Shen Yi, in the sense they're the same elements, but they have different meanings. So in Chinese medicine, the element water is associated with the character of the bladder and the lungs. No, not the lungs. I think the bladder and the kidney. Whereas wood would be associated with the skeletal system and the muscles. And fire, of course, you can guess it. It's the heart. So if you spend any time in the Southeast Asia, there's a saying in different languages, Laos and Thailand and Cambodia, hot-hearted. Jai Ron. Jai is hard, Thai, Ron is hot. And they describe Americans as being hot-hearted compared to people living in indigenous people living in that area. They tend to be more relaxed and more in control of their emotions. Anyway, so fire associated with heart. Well, in Shen Yi, the 5 elements describe the character of strikes, different kinds of strikes. And so fire is very explosive, wood is pounding, earth covers things up, water is drilling. What did I leave out? Fire, water, earth. Fire, water, earth. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, we'll get into it. Let's see. Fire, water, earth. That's funny. I can't think of the other 2. It's really silly. All right, it'll come later on.
Is it wind?
Pardon? Wood, fire, water, earth, wood. Oh, metal. Of course. I'm thinking about metal, doing metal with you. Okay, so water drilling, earth is covering, fire is explosive, wood pounds, and metal, what would metal do? Metal chops, cuts. So today we're going to do the metal form, and the metal form is the one that's mostly used. So follow along with me. It's pretty simple. And it actually, in its applicability, it's a very effective form of defending and striking at something, all right, or attacking something at the same time defending yourself. And so what we're going to do, so have I done this before, Chad? Okay, good. So I think you especially will really appreciate this, because when you learn it, you don't learn the application, you just learn the form, you know, and then later on they tell you, oh, this is how it's used. That's probably not the best way to learn something, but that's the way I learned it. And when I found out how it's used by talking about it with a lot of people that know a lot more than I do about it, I finally figured it out. And so here's what it's going to be, is we're going to start with an opening breath. And we're going to come up with the hands out. Now, all the movements, all the forms in practice forms in Xing Yi start out with this same movement called an opening breath. Now, keep in mind that Xing Yi is kind of some derivative of Tai Chi. It's probably even older than Tai Chi. And so in all of these arts, and especially the weapons forms, even though the weapons have different shapes, usually you're holding the weapon, you start out like this. Okay, and so for example, I keep drifting, but I want to show you this. So this is a good opportunity to show you that the opening breath that you are doing is an integral part of the beginning of all the movements. And so this is the Dao, the Chinese saber. And in this form, it's always held this way. So if somebody's walking with their weapon this way, it means that you don't have to worry about anything because it's hard to do anything with it. So this is kind of your neutral, non-aggressive posture. And in the opening move of the Dao form that I know, the sword comes up and over and down and into the chest as you turn to the left. All right. In the Xing Yi sword form, straight sword, this is a saber, this is straight. All right. The Tai Chi, different styles of Tai Chi have their own sword forms, straight sword forms. In Xing Yi, the sword is held like this, and the opening move is exactly the same opening move that we do in starting metal, except the hands come up to the sides, you sink, they come down, they can come up and down again, and then from there, you do various things, all right? So that's the opening move. The opening move, the opening breath that we do in Qigong, the opening move, the opening breaths apply to the weapons forms and each of the 5 elements. So we're going to start with this form as we come up to the outside, just like the opening breath, overhead and come down. Now we're going to put the tips of the fingers together. This is kind of in Bagua, this is the eagle form. You would walk the circle in Bagua like this, using this eagle form. There are 8 postures in Bagua using the hands in this, named after animals, birds and other animals, and this is eagle. So you come up, get into that eagle posture, push your straight down. All right, now when you get to your waist, and this is great because you can do Xing Yi sitting down. You could even use it sitting down to defend yourself. All you're taking out of the picture is the feet, which always involve leaping forward or leaping back. So Xing Yi is very applicable to the sitting posture, unlike Tai Chi. So we're going to come up and over and straight down, tips of the fingers together, pushing down to the waist. All right. Then we're going to turn the hands over. And as we turn the hands over, palms over, rotating the thumb forward, we're going to make 2 fists. And the fists are going to be facing each other. So you go from the tips facing each other, rotate the palms over, make 2 fists, and put your fist right down in front of your groin. Now this movement here is a block down. And then we make two fists, and now we're protecting our groin. So we haven't even started, and we've learned two applications. So having a fist in front of your groin is a really good way to protect yourself. Now from here, what we're going to do is we're going to bring your left fist up under your chin, like an uppercut, and straight out with the palm up, meaning the heart of the fist up. So let's try these movements. Hands at our sides, up to the sides, opening breath, tips together, push down, rotate the palms over, make two fists, connect the fists by the knuckles, bring the left hand up under the chin and strike out. So this is a rotational movement. All right, if I did it sideways, this is what it looks like. Coming up and down. Turn the palms over, make two fists, protect the groin. Up under the chin, punching out. This is up and out. Notice this rotational movement. In this case, it's moving, I guess, counterclockwise. Up, in, and out. So you're drawing down, your hands are down here, it's up and out. Hands are down here, up and out. It's a rotation. And a strike. All right. This could be a block too. Now what you're going to do is you're going to put this fist, other fist, bring it up, put it right up on the crook of your elbow. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open both palms. We're going to then bring the front palm down and across the other shoulder. And bring that down in another arc across the shoulder and back in, locking the knuckle of that left hand to your waist, palm down, the fingers pointing toward the Dan Chin. It's like you're holding you're sitting there with your hands on your hips and your elbows out like that. And if you just bring that hand out a little bit, with the tips of the fingers pointing toward the crotch, that's the way you want to end up. So this movement comes up, in and out, open up, and it comes back down, sweeps down and blocks across and ends up down to the waist. The other hand, palm, fist, which is on your elbow, is going to strike out. It's open. It's going to strike out, turn, and chop. Using I'm not sure what this is called. The
palm heel.
Thank you, using the palm heel. So I mentioned this before, if you're going to hit something or somebody, it makes more sense to use this than a fist, because you're just going to break your fingers, your knuckles. If you like breaking your knuckles, do it that way. But anyway, so you're in this posture here. All right, and this is you've either struck something or you more likely blocked something. You've got this hand up here protecting yourself, and now you're going to open up and strike. At the same time, you're going to block down and across, and you're going to just do this movement. Now, notice this motion. One is a block defensive movement. The other one is attacking. Now, the way this is used, the metal strike is to chop, is across the bridge of the nose. It's a very brutal strike, and you can also break a collarbone with it. If you use enough force, and it's this rotational force up and down, it's like an axe chopping out and down. All right. Notice at the same time, you're blocking and bringing your hand back, and that the combination of the torque in and the torque out increase the force of the block and the strike at the same time. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So you've got a very complex, sophisticated system here going on with a lot of different things going on that are all very complementary. And if you can learn how to do this without thinking, you can probably overcome any obstacle. Now imagine you're doing this at the same time you're leaping forward. Now you've got all your energy leaping forward and landing flat, attached to these very aggressive moves forward, and so you know the saying, to 2 ounces you can defeat 1,000 pounds, and so using everything that God gave you to effectively do something. In this case, it's to attack something or defend yourself. Okay, so that's the introduction to it. So let's practice it, and we'll practice it in 2 directions, where everything is right-handed and left-handed, right? So we're going to do it in 2 directions. It's a lot like this, like swimming. This is the feeling. And we've done exercises in this sagittal plane. So this is the sagittal plane. Forward and back is sagittal. This is horizontal, this is frontal, and this is the side, right? So the Xingyi is all like this. Think of it like a tank moving forward. And in fact, the father of Xingyi was an infantry officer, and now the infantry, the lead, defense or attack and infantry is tanks, right? Am I right? Anyone out there? I'm not a veteran, but a tank usually goes ahead of the troops, right? Well, maybe they had elephants back then in the Far East, you know, with armor leading the pack, and then back you had all these foot soldiers with spears going forward, piercing forward. And so think of this as a way of doing all that without machines or without weapons. Except in that example of the Xingyi sword that I showed you. I'm going to just show it to you because I'm talking about it. This would be the Xingyi metal attack, leaping out like that and extending your hand. Here we're just using the hands, and of course we're doing the sitting position. Okay, so you know what? I don't care if we spend the whole session on this, because you're not gonna. Very few people really know the Xingyi form. Everyone's heard about it. Most people that have practiced Tai Chi, not most, but some people have learned a little bit, just enough to be dangerous to themselves. But anyway, I know a lot of Xingyi, and I practice it a lot. So I can talk about it with some degree of authority, and that I'm not, and very little bullshit. All right, because there's a lot of bullshit in Tai Chi and Chinese internal martial arts. All right, so I'm going to sit sideways so you can see me. So it's all very simple. Let's take an opening breath. Come down, fingers together, palms down. As we turn the palms over, we make 2 fists at the groin. We're going to come up with the left hand under the chin and out. Right palm on the crook of the left elbow. Open the palms up. The front hand is going to turn over and come down and across the right shoulder and down to the waist. The fingers pointing to the Tai Chi. The front hand is going to rotate out in the opposite direction and strike with the heel of the hand. All right. Now we're going to go to the other side. I'm going to make 2 fists. I'm going to rotate down with the right fist and in and up under the chin and strike out. Notice that's a circular motion, and strike out. Take the other hand, bring it up, fist on the crook of the elbow. Open up both palms, block across and down and into the waist as I rotate the palm on the crook of the elbow out and turn it and strike with the heel. All right. Once again, make 2 fists. bring the fist, the outer fist in a circle up under the chin, strike out, right fist in the crook of the elbow, open the hands up, block, and strike out. Make two fists, bring the right fist up under the chin and out, left fist on the crook of the elbow. You're setting up, open the fist, block, across, and strike out. And if I do this facing you, metal, opening breath, come down, rotate, make two fists, rotate the heart of the fist up, right fist under the chin, out, left fist in the crook of the right elbow, open the palms up, block down, and strike forward. Make two fists, bring the outer fist in and up under the chin and out, right fist in the crook of the elbow, open the hands up, block across, and strike over. Notice the roundness of that arm. That palm is down, fingers pointing toward the Dan chin. Make two fists, rotate right fist up and out, left fist in the crook of the elbow, block across, strike up and out. And this is a circular motion too. The strike isn't just linear. It's slightly up as you turn and out and down. So it's a chopping form, a chopping movement. Okay, do you guys like this stuff?
Yeah, it's excellent.
Okay, good. So, nothing exists by itself. There's only so many things you can do with your body, but you'll see a lot of, images of these movements and all in Tai Chi as well, if you think about it. Brush knees a little bit like this. So, if I'm setting up, I open my palms up. Now watch, I'm going to block down and across and bring my hand here. That's not much different than this.
Sifu, I'm astounded at the principles behind this and how it's almost identical to Southern Wing Chun. The punching that we do is a chain punching, same position, circular motion, drawing, blocking, striking at the same time. You talk about a tank. It's locomotive energy. It's so similar, and you can generate a lot of energy in a very small space. And when I'm doing this with what you're showing us, it's funny because the Tai Chi, the energy feels more elongated. The Xingyi feels smaller but more explosive, and it projects. So it's a very different body state. I'm quite amazed at the difference in the body state. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, Chad. And I really appreciate your comments, as I do comments from everybody in the class. But Chad has had Wing Chun experience. He's had martial art experience, and so he can reflect on some of the principles that I'm talking about and connect them with his experience. And he used the term explosive, and I didn't use that term. I said it's very linear and very powerful, but people do describe it as explosive. Tai Chi isn't explosive at all. Tai Chi is very, very subtle and circular and soft. But there's nothing soft about Xingyi. It's explosive, and it's very much to the point. It gets the job done. And a lot of people say, well, then why is it called an internal, or why is it characterized as one of the three internal Chinese martial arts? And that's a very good question. And some people will debate this. And I think the saving grace here for it to be included in this stellar group of in that description is because you're not just doing this mindlessly. You're applying your mind to it. Your mind is driving everything. The mind is creating chi, and the chi is driving the force, and the force is producing energy. Okay, so that's what makes it an internal Chinese martial art. At the same time, my favorite description of internal is you don't want to get hit. You want to hit and defend yourself, but you don't want to get hurt. And so all of these moves are designed to eliminate try to reduce the possibility of getting hit, and to make the first move, if you will. And it's very aggressive. So there are lots of different forms. We've only done one, and this is metal. If you really want to do this, and I need to get a kind of consensus about it, we can go through all of the other four elements, and they're all different, and they have different feelings because they are associated with different applications. So, as I said, metal is chopping, and water, you'll feel a drilling feeling, a drilling meaning piercing. When they say drilling, it's piercing. If you think about how can water be piercing? Well, go down to the water and look at some of these caves. The water over the eons, millions of thousands of millions of years, has carved out holes and pockets in rock, so it's drilling. Same thing with the pressure washer. You can generate you can remove paint from something by increasing the force of the water. Anyway, so those are good analogies. So let me know, or let the facilitator know, and we'll do more of this stuff. So I only see 4 people here, and what I fear for attendees, besides Leslie and me, that maybe doing things other than Tai Chi is turning people off, and that's not my intention. So we need to kind of maybe we need to discuss this, because I don't want people to drop out because we're not doing more Tai Chi.
Well, Ralph,
What?
there were 9 people in class, 9 total.
Yeah, well, we only 5 people aren't here, and I hope it's not because I'm not doing much Tai Chi.
No, there are 8 people.
Leslie, is there any way for you to check with those people and find out honestly, what they're, if they've lost interest, why? So it'll help me.
I'll talk to Cynthia about a survey. Maybe a survey can be done. A survey?
Yeah.
I'll talk to Cynthia.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Okay. 12:25. I'm willing to do it. I'm pretty flexible. I'm willing to do anything. So having said that, let's do Tai Chi. We have 5 minutes. Let's just go through the form in both directions until we get to the move that's called straightening out, walking straightening out his clothes, or it's also known as, the move is called leisurely tying the coat. Next week, we'll work on that in more detail, all right? Sitting up straight, bringing the hands up, fingers pointing down, like you're holding the ball, bringing the ball in. Inhaling, pushing out, exhaling, bringing the palms in, open and close. Single whip, push out, extend. Follow the movement of the right fingers. Bring the right hand and fingers down, across the lap to the left, lining up underneath the left elbow. Switching the hands up and down, palms facing out, pull across together. Maintaining the same distance vertically between the hands. Shift up and down, pull to the left. Shift up and down, pull to the right, turning at the waist through the dantian. Turn the lower palm up, rotate out, forward, and open and close. Relax your shoulders. Fresh knee right, fold the hands over, left fingers on right elbow as we turn to the right, looking at the right palm up near the right ear. we strike across or block across as we push out, turning at the waist. Striking with the, again, the lower part of the palm. Play the loop, bring the upper hand down in a slight oblong arc, bring the lower hand up in an arc. Play the loop, elbows down, fingers up, thumbs pointing at your body. Rotate the lower palm up, the upper palm blocking down, pull in, strike out as we pass and brush the hands past each other. Deflect, turn the palms over again. Deflect number 2, turning at the waist. Make 2 fists. Now we're in a position where we're going to strike, right? We're wound up on the right hand side with the right wrist, the right made it with the right fist down at right next to the waist, because we're going to drive this force directly through the shoulder line, directly up, rather than around to the side now. And we're going to rotate the left hand across the chest, which is a ward off or a 2 fist blocking across and coming up over the wrist and striking with the eye of the palm of the fist up. Open the hands up, calling block, bring the elbows back. Open the hands slightly, bring them down about to the chest level, and push out in an arc, rotating down and up. Fold the hands facing each other, bringing the hands into the chest, open and close. And the other way, single whip, look to the left. Bring the right hand down, the left hand down under the right elbow. Get up, set for cloud hands, switch the hands up and down and turn to the left this time. In the first cloud hands, we were moving to the right, now we're moving to the left. Do 3 rotations to the right, to the left. Turn the lower palm up, bring it across, sweep it across to the right as we turn and open and close. All right, brush knee left. Hold the hands over to the left, right fingers on the left elbow, turn to the right, wind up, and let the expansion go, unwind, blocking across with the left hand, pulling it into the waist as we strike forward with the right palm. All right, play the loop. This time the left hand comes down, the right hand comes up to play the loop. We turn the left palm over, the right palm down, deflect 1, extending and pulling in, turn the palms over, deflect 2. Again, always turning at the waist, make 2 fists, parry across with the right fist, punch over the right fist with the left hand. And this punch comes right down from here and it's straight up. So it has an upward arc movement. Open the palms up, palms facing out, draw the hands back and in, splitting force, come down, push out, open and close. And if we wanted, we could stop, but let's do one more form. And the form we're going to do is one more brush knee to the left. Brush knee to the left. Remember to rotate the hands to the left, right fingers on left elbow. As we turn to the left, sweep across with the right hand, strike out with the left hand, bringing the right palm down to the very same position that we did in those Xingyi exercises. In that case, the arm sweeps across and comes down in an arc, and we bring it down here. It's really the same position, except in Tai Chi, the fingers are facing forward, the palm down. In Xingyi, they're facing in with the elbow more extended out. You can do it this way. I actually prefer this way. So, and you're doing your brush knee, you can come across let's see, I'm set up, I'm gonna come across, sweep across, instead of blocking down and back, I'm blocking across and back and bringing that palm into the Xing Yi final position, which you can see is like this rather than like this. All right, got it? And now we're going to rotate the palms facing each other, but don't change their positions. And we're going to bring the right palm up. Now the palm is facing your waist. We're going to bring it up like we're pulling something out of your pocket or pulling a gun out of a holster. I kind of don't like to use that analogy because I don't like guns. And bringing up, so now it's at the same level as the left palm, which is facing to the right. And we're going to push that forward. And at the same time, pull the left palm in so that the fingers of the left palm are about at the position of the right wrist. And then we're going to make that connection. And we're going to turn the palms up like we're opening up a book. And we're going to stop here. Okay, well, I think that was, I really enjoyed this session. I like doing Xing Yi, so I'm going to sign off and wish everyone